Sometimes in the course of a project, you are needing to design a project based on what you have at the time, or what exists at the time, or the current stage in the feed process that you're dealing with. But then you know that there are going to be model changes over time, or you know that there's going to be improvements or expansions onto the facility later, and you might want to future-proof your project or your design or what have you. So to give you an example of how you might be able to deal with this in HazMap3D, this is a model of a compressor building, just a compressor building that's going to be at a natural gas station. And they are going to build this compressor station with 5 compressors initially. However, the client in this case knows that they are eventually going to add a new compressor, and they're even going to build the building with space for this additional compressor and then add the compressor later on. So say the client wants us to design a system that will provide coverage not just for the 5 existing compressors, but also to future-proof design for the addition of the future compressor. In this case, what we can do is, using a different program, because HazMap3D does not let you do this internal to the program, clone one of these compressors and shift it over in the coordinate system. And then at that point, we can come into background, add 3D drawing, and then in my extra compressor file, I can import this and say OK. And then the computer returns me to the home position, but adds that extra compressor. And now that this has been added, because it was imported as a separate folder or a separate model file, I can turn it on and off. And this has the power, or this has the ability of allowing me to run assessments with just the 5 existing compressors, and then add that compressor in and rerun the assessment, or clone an assessment and rerun with and without the new compressor, and see what my results are, and see if I am designing a system that will give me good coverage for now and good coverage for the future. We can also do this where we have an old model and we can just turn off the old model and import and use or have a new model. And we don't have to completely get rid of the old model. We can leave it turned off and switch between them and see what kind of impacts my coverage is going to have based on changes to the model. Say we're adding a vessel or we're taking out a pump or something. And the great thing about this is that I can do this without having to start over from scratch. If my facility is changing over time and I get an updated 3D model, I can just import that new 3D model into my existing project set, and all of my existing flame detectors and gas detectors from the old model are still going to be programmed in. The only thing you have to worry about is that you have to keep your coordinate system consistent, or if you are not using a consistent coordinate system, you're going to have to know how to shift that model to be consistent with the old coordinate set.